yeah, Jesus, take control. Feel his power in your soul. Jesus' love will make you whole. In his presence we have all. How me love, how me love, how me love, how me love Jesus, oh. How me love, how me love, how me love, how me love Jesus, oh. How me love, how me love, how me love, how me love Jesus, oh. How me love, how me love, how me love, how me love Jesus, oh. From Trinidad to the Caribbean, from the Caribbean to the world. From Trinidad to the Caribbean, from the Caribbean to the world. From Trinidad to the Caribbean, from the Caribbean to the world. From Trinidad to the Caribbean, from the Caribbean to the world. Jesus to the world, to the world. Jesus Christ to the world, to the world. Jesus to the world, to the world. Jesus Christ to the world.
Greetings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's a blessed, beautiful Sunday evening. You know, our program is today instead of yesterday because of situations beyond our control. Listen to me. It's a privilege having you on today. Those of you on YouTube, those of you on Facebook, we want to say thank you. And we are blessed to have you spending this time with us today. And before we continue, for those of you who are new, I am Reverend Yolande, aka Mentor Rev. You know, as I said, I'm delighted to have you. We feature on a weekly basis the young and the young at heart in Christ. We impact, we empower, we uplift, and we encourage. And in doing all of this, our aim is to make a difference in someone's life. And that difference is through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So we want you to invite someone, share the live, tag someone, invite someone as someone who we are on, go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Hit that bell. You know, we're going to give you a chance to, while you are inviting someone and you are getting comfortable with your drink or your snack, we're going to run this ad. So we will be right back.
Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood, boy. The whole me, let me dance. The whole me, let me dance, oh yeah. Let me dance to Jesus. Young and old, come along, everyone can do it. No worry about nothing, it ain't got no weight limit. Cause this party is heavenly. That's the problem gone away. It's a new kind of dancing, can lead you to your healing. So get up and dance your problem them away. I know you've been waiting long, but your breakthrough is today. Forget about every negative thing, get up and dance into your blessing. It might look confusing, but it's Caribbean Christian living. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood, boy. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood, boy. The whole me, let me dance. The whole me, let me dance, oh yeah. Let me dance to Jesus, let me dance to Jesus, oh yeah. Dance to Jesus, oh yeah. I say the whole me, leave me, let me dance. The whole me, just leave me, let me dance. Let me go, let me go, let me dance. Let me go, just let me dance. Let me go, let me go, let me dance. Let me go, let me go, let me dance. Let me go, let me go, let me dance. I want to dance to Jesus, boy. Let me go, let me dance. Let me go, let me come on and dance your problem them away. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood, my blood.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are going to be dealing with overcoming the effects of domestic violence, or let's say we're going to be dealing with domestic violence. You know, this program was planned more than a month ago. And since this program was planned, we are hearing of different situations of domestic violence in our country. Recently, as far as back as last week, I think we had a murder-suicide, and it was very, very, very sad. And today we have none other than a person who is very well, known in this field. We have Camika Cletchie, known as the Purple Catalyst. She's a beacon of hope and transformation. Camika is the founder and president of Women Rediscover Your Strength, and that is a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting and empowering victims of domestic violence. As a survivor turned advocate, Camika has taken her power story to the global stage. Yes, she is a protagonist global of breaking the cycle. Wow. And today I want to introduce to you none other than Camika McCletchie. Camika, all over to you on domestic violence.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank you, Reverend Yates, for having me. And I just want to thank everyone that is on right now. Today, as we celebrate 16 days of activism against domestic violence, it's really important to me to be able to share and educate persons, make them aware about all the intricacies involved in domestic violence, the dynamics. And today we're going to talk about overcoming the effects of domestic violence. So if you're on and you're listening and you are a victim or you have been a victim and you have survived, there are still some things that may affect you from the experience you had. And we're going to discuss how you can overcome those effects, how you can come out of those kinds of experiences. And if you're just listening, maybe you can take notes and you may be able to pass it on to someone who has experienced this type of trauma. All right. So we're going to jump right in. And before we really discuss all the points in overcoming domestic violence, I'm just going to share a brief thing about the brief definition about what is domestic violence for those who may be new to the platform or have not seen the last video we did. So domestic violence is basically a pattern of behavior, any manipulative tactic, or any form of abuse that has become a pattern of behavior used by one person to exert power and control over another person within an intimate relationship. So that, in a nutshell, is what domestic violence is. And we're going to just jump right in. So, firstly, I want to ask, what is it? What does it mean to be safe? Just reflect for a moment and ask yourself, what does it mean to be safe in your mind? If you are in something like that or you have come out, what does safety mean to you? And safety is, we're not just talking about physical safety, but we also talking about safety in terms of your emotions, safety in terms of your spirituality, safety in terms of your mental health, because all of those things are affected by domestic violence. So when we're talking safety, it's a holistic approach. What does it mean to be safe? To be home and know that you're safe. You're not in survival mode. You don't have to do certain things because you think you're still in the relationship. You are safe. You are out of it. So reflect on that. And if you are still in it, what does it mean to be safe? So one of the things I want to talk about as we discuss safety, if you are in a domestic violence relationship right now, one key thing is safety planning, creating a safety plan. And a safety plan is really a practical and personalized strategy that helps you protect yourself in a crisis. It's more about preparation, not about fear. Knowing what to do before you need to act. So I'll explain. If you are in that type of relationship currently, you want to put a safety plan in place in case an emergency arises that you need to run for your life or you need to grab your children and run. And a safety plan really involves thinking ahead. As it says, it's not to act in fear, but it's to prepare. So what you're going to start to do is you're going to start to put aside little clothes. You're not going to pack a big bag or suitcase that the abuser is going to become aware of, like, why is this suitcase packed? No, you're going to put aside little things, the necessities that you may need, a change of clothes, two change of clothes, Same thing for your children, and you're going to keep that in a bag somewhere that you alone know that bag is there. You're not going to use a suitcase or some kind of knapsack or anything that can give away your plan, right? It's going to be something discreet, a plastic bag somewhere you can put it that nobody's going to know it's there. You also going to put aside money. And I know a lot of times in domestic violence relationships, you cannot put aside a lot of money. Sometimes you are financially abused, so you may need to, if it is that you get $100 alone per month or maybe twice a week, because that's the essence of financial abuse. Even if it's $10, even if it's $20, you're gonna start putting that aside, right? As small as it is. I know my grandmother used to say one drop will fill the bucket over and over, right? One drop at a time. So you put aside a little money every time you get some money, and you put that aside with that close that nobody's gonna know you are putting it aside. If you're able to open a separate account, you put it in there. um if you can, if you're in a position to probably purchase a little me too phone, as they call it, not an expensive phone, those really cheap ones, you put that aside as well with the extra sim card, right? So you're thinking ahead of what can happen and what you're going to need if you need to run, right? You're on medication, you want to put aside, you want to probably put some extra medication aside. If you're going to probably put aside some tablets, or I don't know if it's liquid medication, you put some aside that you can go with. Same thing for your children. If they need medication, you put those aside. And you want to also put aside key documents like birth paper, ID cards, passports, those kind of things. Even if you can't pack them in the bag because the abuser may notice they are missing, you want to make sure they're in a place that you could grab it as well and run when the time comes, right? Maybe you can, if you have a neighbor that you can trust, maybe you can give them a password, so, or family members, so you know if you make a call and you say that password, like say, the eagle is in the house or whatever it is, it has to be something that will not be detected. So maybe you can just call and say, like, I have the cabbage in the fridge, something that will not alert the abuser, but that person, that trusted individual, knows when they hear that, that means that you are in trouble and you probably need the police, you need help, right? And I don't want to go too much into other stuff because this is a public forum and people can't be listening. Abusers do come on and listen as well. But
Yes.
I think you get the gist of it. You want to be able to plan with someone you can trust, different things, words, different things that they will know. If I see that sign, I know you are in trouble, I'm going to get the police. That kind of thing, right? So you think ahead. It's all about preparation and thinking about, if I have to run in an emergency, what I'm going to need, how I'm going to get out of the house, what is the action I'm going to take to make sure I and my children are out safely, that kind of thing. And most importantly, do not discuss it with anyone. It doesn't matter if it's your mother, your family, do not discuss it, not even with the children, because abusers are very manipulative and they can cause persons to trust them and give them information. So be very careful about who you discuss your safety plan with. We moving on to now, if you have left or even if you are about to leave or you're still in, there are legal rights that you have and you should know them. They're going to help you in your overcoming journey. So you have legal rights, and some of those legal rights entails you being able to seek a protection order, right? That means that's what we call a restraining order. It's now called a protection order. And that means that the abuser cannot come in how much feet of you. Should that person, he or she, breach that order, they can be arrested. So I think it's 100 feet. I'm not sure if it has increased, but if they breach that, if you see them coming, you can call the police and they can be arrested. When you have a restraining order in place, let's say you are in KFC buying a meal and that person enters KFC to buy a meal, or they were there before you and you enter, they have to leave because you have the restraining order in effect, right? So it doesn't matter if they were there first, they have to leave. If they don't, you can call the police and they can be arrested. You can also reach out to advocates like myself. There are many other advocates that can guide you and help you along the way in terms of seeking help and legal action. And more importantly, you can reach out to therapists and trauma specialists who will also make sure you get the counseling you need and help you to start the process of overcoming that you're about to take. So, as I say this, I want you to know that you are not alone. There is help out there, and reaching out is the first sign to strength. It's not a weakness to say you need help, right? It's strength actually to say, hey, I need some help. Sometimes people see it as weaknesses, but it's not. There is no harm in saying you need help because there are people like myself and Reverend Dates who are willing to help. The next step, you want to acknowledge the truth about your experience, right? You want to acknowledge to yourself that this abuse is real and you are not to blame. I remember when I was a victim, I was always in denial, and I would deny that I was even in an abusive relationship. But the first step to you getting healing is to accept that, hey, I am a victim of domestic violence. I am in this, or I have experienced it. I once was in it. Don't act like it never happened. I know persons who act like it never happened because they're ashamed. Acknowledge, I was a victim. This has happened to me. That's the first step to your healing. Understand that you are not to blame, right? You are not the one that perpetrated the abuse. It was perpetrated against you, and you are not to blame. There's nothing you can do that can cause another person to beat up on you, to stab you, choke you, pull you by your hair, rape you. There's nothing that you can do that can cause another person to react like that against you. It's not valid. So you are not to blame, right? The abuse is never the victim's fault. I want you to understand that. It doesn't matter what other people say to you. It doesn't matter what the abuser tells you, because a lot of times you would hear things like, look at what you made me do. It is your fault. If you had just done X, I wouldn't do this. It is not your fault. They are just saying that that's a manipulative tactic. You are never to blame. So the first step, you have to release the blame. It's the first step to restoring your self worth. Release that blame, don't take it upon yourself, right? The abuse is not justified. There's no reason that anyone should abuse you. Another thing is that you don't want to minimize it. Like, say, it wasn't nothing, that was small thing. No, you don't want to minimize it. Call it out for what it is. It was abuse. You were a victim, you were in abuse. So telling the truth about your pain is not weakness, it's actually courage. The next one is understanding the nature of abuse that you were in. So there are different types of abuses under domestic violence. There is psychological, emotional, physical, verbal, sexual, medical, financial, and even spiritual, right? You want to acknowledge the type of abuse. That is a key point in you regaining your power, in you healing, to be on your healing journey. So you want to name the abuse for what it is. Don't just say, well, sometimes he will give me a little push. Sometimes, he will get vexed and hit me. No. He physically abused me. He sexually abused me. Call it by its name, right? It's the first step to breaking the power that person had over you. Now, you also have to remember that abusers use many tactics. They gaslight, they isolate, they use guilt trips. So you wanna, even in naming the abuse, it helps you to learn about the patterns that you experienced while you were in it, right? And then once you understand the patterns that you experience, it also helps you on your healing journey. It also helps you to understand why you experience certain things when you are out, why you react in certain ways, why you have certain triggers. It's because of the type of abuse that you experience over the years. So that's why it's important to name the abuse, and then you can learn more about that type of abuse. Next, we want to prioritize our emotional and psychological healing. And that's important because sometimes you go through traumatic events and you tell yourself, I'm over that. That was small thing that happened in the past. That was years ago. But we don't realize unconsciously it's still affecting us very badly. So you want to prioritize your emotional and psychological healing. That is not weakness. To get counseling does not mean you're mad. I remember, some years back, once you hear the word counseling, people will say, why you want me to go counseling? You feel I'm mad? No, counseling has nothing to do with that. Counseling is very important. It's a part, just how you would feel sick, your foot, you may break your leg and you go to the doctor to get a cast put on it. It's the same thing. You have to prioritize emotional and psychological health. It's just as important as your physical body. In the same way we'd go to a doctor for our physical body, it's the same way we want to go to a therapist, a psychologist for our emotional and psychological health, because those things impact us. And for those who don't know, trauma stores in your body, so it can begin to affect you physically, right? So you want to practice as you start taking counseling. If you know it's needed, you want to be able to practice some self-compassion. You want to have compassion in yourself. Don't beat up on yourself. You made mistakes, you fell along the way, but you are moving forward with your healing. So I want you to have some self-compassion for yourself. Allow the space for you to feel, allow the space for you to cry, allow that space for you to get over the shame of what took place. You want to be able to tell your story safely. Telling your story actually helps you with your healing. The more you speak about your experience, whether it's in therapy, it's in a support group, or even if you just journal, you tell your story by writing, it helps you to externalize the pain. So instead of keeping the pain pent up inside of you, you are able to bring it out. And that is really vital in your healing, because that can affect you physically over time. You want to share, sharing also reduces your isolation. So, the abuse would have isolated you. It would have caused you to become withdrawn. But the more you share, it reduces that isolation in your life, and it helps to affirm your identity as a survivor, as an overcomer, right? So, the next one we want to move on to, you want to challenge the shame and the silence. So, a lot of times when we go through abuse, domestic violence, we feel ashamed. And that's one of the key reasons that we don't speak out. Shame thrives in secrecy. We don't speak out because we don't want anyone to know that we were a victim. We don't want anyone to know that we went through that. And the thing about it is, sometimes, according to the roles you play in life, you don't want anybody to know. For instance, if you're a pastor, you don't want anybody to know that you are a victim. If you're a police officer, you don't want anybody to know you're a victim. So sometimes, because of your roles, you are ashamed. But I'm here to tell you that shame thrives in silence, in secrecy, and we need to be able to speak out, right? So telling your story has power, and it eliminates that shame and that silence. The more you tell your story, the stronger you begin to feel, right? It also helps you to shift your perspective. As you tell your story and people start, telling you, I'm so glad you shared, that inspired me. You are strong. You are so resilient. I'm glad you're out. It helps to shift your perspective, and it helps you to recognize that you are not broken. Nothing is wrong with you. You are healing and you are powerful. You are overcoming this thing that happened to you. So it's really important to be able to speak out. It helps you to dissolve that shame that you're experiencing. Another key point is rebuilding your sense of self worth and identity. When you are in an abusive relationship, it breaks your self worth, it breaks your self esteem, and you begin to feel that you are worth nothing. You have no value. You begin to think that you are only able to stay in this relationship. Nobody else is gonna love me. Nobody else is gonna want to be with me. I can't get it right. Something is wrong with me. These are the things you believe about yourself. It's called learned helplessness, and that happens when you are in an abusive relationship. So the recovery begins by affirming your self worth. You get affirmations and start affirming yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. I am wonderful, and I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am God's daughter. I can accomplish what I want. I am a queen. I am loved. I am lovable. So look at yourself in the mirror and call yourself by name. You say, Camika, you are beautiful. Camika, you are wonderful. Whatever your name is, those things help to affirm you. Those things help with your self worth. And you're going to practice these affirmations daily. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of respect. I deserve safety. Those things help you to change your perspective. You want to reconnect with those who you knew before you were abused, because remember, the abuse would have caused you to be isolated. So start reconnecting with family and friends that you know have your best interests at heart. And the key word there is have your best interests at heart. Not the ones that blame you, not the ones that are upset with you, not the ones that judge you. But there are going to be people in your circle that genuinely want the best for you. Start reconnecting with them. They're going to help you to fill your emotional bank when it is empty. They're going to help you to find self worth again, to find back your identity, to remember who you were before the abuse. Because when you're in abuse, you become an empty shell and you lose who you were. So they are the ones that are going to be able to fill you. Another way you can build your self worth and find your identity is to connect with purpose. Start, building your spirituality. Start reconnecting with God, reading your word and what God says about you, who God says you are. That is going to help you because you would have lost all of that in the relationship. So start building and working on your faith. Start building your relationship with Him, with God. Many survivors, including myself, have found strength in their faith and in prayer. And I can tell you today that I would not have made it out if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for my faith in Him. And believe me, when I was in it, I didn't have all the faith like I have now. It was simple prayer, just talking to Him, knowing that He was my present help in the times of trouble. That kept me knowing He was with me. So you're going to need God if you're going to overcome this. You see, the more that you go closer to God, it's going to help you find peace. It's going to help you to forgive. And it's going to help you with a sense of knowing that you are loved and you are held by God. Next point, we want to seek safe and non judgmental support. So when you come out of this abuse, or even while you're in it, you need support. The more isolated you are, the more you're going to become depressed and you're going to lose yourself. You need some type of support. So you don't have to walk this journey alone. You can get support from advocates again like myself. You can get support from therapists. You can get support from pastors, elders in your church, from friends, family members. And if you don't have any of that, I have met victims who have no friends, no family, they have no one, then you're going to find a community, find a home church, find a place where people are going to build you up, find a community where you can speak, find a counselor, find a support group. One of the things I implemented is to have a support group for all the survivors that I work with. So even if I cannot help, or I am too busy, or I am not well, there are other strong survivors in that chat who have walked the same road with you, and they can build you up. They can talk you through because they walked that road already. So it's important to have that community. But the key thing about finding support is to make sure that that support is non-judgmental. Make sure that those person or persons understand. They're not going to judge you. They're going to be a listening ear. They're going to be your support. They're going to be there when you need them. And they're going to be there to pull you through. They're not going to judge you and say, but why you stay so long? You're stupid. Why is go wrong him? No. They're going to be there to give you the support that you need to come out of this. Next, we want to embrace the healing journey. So I want to say that healing is not a one-stop shop. It's not like, okay, I want to get healing, and you start doing a little thing by Monday and by Friday healed. No. Healing is a journey and it is progressive. I am out of the violent relationship I was in 13 years now, and my healing is still progressive. I'm healed in a lot of areas, but sometimes I notice I have small triggers still. Sometimes I notice there are things that still bother me. And as you go about life, you're going to notice, hey, I still have this area here that I need to work on. I still have this other area. but it's progressive, but it gets better with time, right? So the important thing is not to give up, but to embrace the journey. And the journey is not always nice. It's not always a bed of roses. Someday it could get really nasty. It could get really bad, because sometimes you have to face things in your past that are not nice. You don't want to face them. You don't want to remember them. But sometimes you have to go back to the past to be able to go forward, right? You have to be able to go and shut some doors and keep them closed. So it's important to be able to go back. And as I said, it's not nice. Your healing journey is not always a bed of roses, but the more you continue, the better you'll be for it. Even as you embrace your healing journey, you want to practice some self care. Make sure you eat properly. Make sure you journal, you pray, you get some sleep. Go somewhere that you can, take a time out. Go to the beach. If you're able to, probably, go somewhere that you can just get a weekend to yourself. No children. If you can get someone to help you see about the children, it's really important for your care. If you are a mother and you only focus on the children and not yourself, if you are not whole, how can you be whole for your children? So you need to work on yourself to be able to show up 100% for them, because they need you. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to show up in the way that they need you to show up for them. So you want to be patient with the healing journey. You want to be able to take time, even as you get flashbacks. You feel you're gonna feel like a failure, like, hey, I feel like I'm going backwards. You want to press forward. It doesn't matter. Even if you feel like that feeling will pass. I've learned that feelings pass. Be intentional and keep going forward no matter what when it comes to your healing. Celebrate your small victories. Whatever it was. Like, I remember I was working with a victim, and birthdays was a thing. It was not allowed when she was in the relationship. And when she was out, the first birthday she had, she did a tiny celebration, just a little cake, just herself. And that was a small victory for her. So you want to be able to celebrate your small victories. It helps you going forward. And of course, as you go through the healing, as I said before, you want to surround yourself with people that is going to help you with your growth. You want to start going on YouTube or whatever platform you use, and find things that are going to help you, videos that are going to teach you about healing, that are going to teach you about domestic violence, that are going to teach you about overcoming. It's important. So you start feeding yourself with things that build you spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. And also, you want to take time out. So rest is important. Women think that they should not rest. I've met a lot of women that find their place, their value in working, 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 and taking no time to rest. Rest is very important for your healing. Before I go to the next one, I just want to throw in as well, a part of your healing is doing introspection. Because sometimes there may be things we may have developed, coping mechanisms that are not really good. So you would find that some victims develop coping mechanisms like lying, because if they tell the truth, they may be physically abused. So they make up little lies. And what happens, that becomes a habit. So when you leave the relationship, you notice that you tell lies for no reason, even when you don't have to. It's because your body and your mind thinks that you are still in survivor mode. So if somebody points out something about you, somebody that you know genuinely has your best interest at heart, and they say, no, Camika, I noticed that you do this, or you lie, or you do this. Do some introspection when you're by yourself. Check yourself and see, do I really do that? Do I really react like that? Am I sometimes aggressive? Check yourself, because it may just be a coping mechanism that you developed, and it may not be a healthy one. So introspection is vital to your healing. Moving on, we want to be able to find or build a community. So you want to be able to connect with other survivors. It's important. They will help strengthen you, right? Whether you do it online, whether you do it in person, whether you join groups on Facebook or whatever platform it is that has other survivors, it's very important to your healing. Another part of healing is being able to serve. You can volunteer in some with some NGO to do some cause. Maybe like there is this NGO called ITNAC. They volunteer like to help persons who are underprivileged or persons who have been affected by natural disasters. They carry food stuff. They sometimes go and help persons clean their homes when there's flooding. You want to volunteer with something like that or something that you're passionate about. It will help you in your healing journey because it helps you to redefine your purpose. It helps you to focus on other things and not always on what you are going through, so it really helps you in your healing journey. Another key area to overcoming domestic violence is to be able to redefine your future. And you must do this on your terms, not other people's terms. So, not someone telling you, well, by now you should have found a job. By now you should be over that. You shouldn't be still crying about that. By now you should be stronger. No. You want to redefine your future on your terms. Understand that what you went through is your past, the abuse, the domestic violence, it's your past, but it does not define your future. So start taking time out. This time out we just spoke about for yourself, and think about what does my future look like. Think about who do I want to become? Who's this woman I want to become? Who's this man I want to become? Right? Because, and I said man because we also have victims that are male, right? So start thinking about who is this person I want to grow into? Who is this person I want to become? You can journal about that person, and that way you're setting future goals. That way you can be intentional about what you're doing to walk towards your future, right? It's important because it gives you purpose as well. So your future goals can be things about your education. You want to better yourself. You want to do a course. You maybe want to do a degree, right? You want to learn some type of baking or something because you want to open a small business. You want to start being able to earn and not depend on people for too long, right? Even relationships. You may want to remarry in the future, but you can't remarry if you don't know who you are, and you would have lost your identity during the violent relationship. So you want to take time to figure out who you are again. I tell people date themselves, go out with yourself, spend time with yourself. I did it, and it was very vital to my healing. That way, once you start to reconnect with yourself, then you can know what you want in a relationship and what you do not want in a relationship. So, all of that is a part of planning for your future. It's a part of you reconnecting with your purpose. And you wonder also if you can get mentors around you, people you can look at and grow from, people you can probably, try to emulate some of their maybe some of their habits. It will be good for you. The next one is boundaries. We want to set boundaries. Healing involves setting healthy boundaries. And boundaries are tools for self respect, for protection. It is not for punishment. A lot of times when we hear the word boundaries, we think that boundaries is a bad word. Boundaries mean putting somebody in check. But boundaries are not for other people, boundaries are for you, right? So boundaries have nothing to do with other people, it has to do with you and setting certain boundaries for yourself. So I want you to think of yourself as your house, the building, and I want you to think of the fence or the wall that is around your house. That is your boundaries. We put up a fence and a wall around our homes to keep intruders out. That's a boundary around your house. And likewise, boundaries are to protect you. So you put them up around yourself. You must practice saying no. No is not a bad word, it's actually a good word. A lot of times when persons like us go through abuse, you think you have to say yes to everything. You people please because of the abuse. You start seeking validation. So someone asks you, can you help me with this? Yes. Can you help me with that? Yes. But really and truly, you can't. You are You don't have the time, you maybe don't have the emotional capacity, but you feel bad to say no. You think that saying no is a bad word, and you say yes until you're cutting off, as old people used to say, you cut off your nose and spoil your face, right? That's something my granny always said. So saying no is not a bad thing. It's a boundary for yourself. So you can say, listen, I really would like to help, but at this point I can't. I am really, my time is maxed out, or I can't come today. I really need to take time out for myself. Don't feel bad about that. Setting boundaries are important. It is vital so that other people do not start, using you and abusing you, because you may come out of one form of abuse, but you find yourself in other types. So setting boundaries are important for your healing. By setting boundaries, we teach other people how to treat us, and we teach other people what we allow in our life and what we reject. If somebody is accustomed speaking to you and using obscene language, you can say, listen, when you're speaking to me, please do not use obscene language. That's a boundary. No, that person doesn't have to listen to you. They may continue using obscene language, but the consequence that will come if you break the boundary is what is important. So, like your house and the fence you put up, if somebody jumps over your wall into your yard, most likely you're going to call the police and you're going to say, there's an intruder in my yard. That's the consequence. Likewise, if somebody is cursing and you told them about it once, twice, three times, and you set that boundary, what you're going to have to do is, if they continue, you let them know, if you continue, I'm going to hang up this phone. If you continue, I'm going to end this conversation. If you continue, I'm going to have to leave. And you follow through with what you said the action would be. And this is not only for intimate relationships, it is for across the board. The boundaries are for all relationships. Remember, they are for you and not for other people. Another important part about overcoming abuse is caring for your body. And earlier on, I said that trauma is stored in your body. So over time, persons who have gone through abuse or a great deal of trauma, sometimes they develop autoimmune diseases like vertigo, like thyroidism, right? Those things affect your body because of the trauma and the emotions that are stored in your body. So it's important to listen to your body, and that's why I'm stressing, if you need to rest, take the time and rest. You can wash later. If you need to wash, maybe put a load of clothes to wash and go rest. It's very important. Honor your body, right? You survived. Let your body know it is okay. It is safe for you to rest. It is safe for you to zone down. Focus on your self care. You're not doing anything. You're not being selfish. It is important. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be around to enjoy when you have healed. You're not going to be around to enjoy seeing your children happy. You're not going to be around to see your children grow to be adults if you don't take care of yourself. It's important to your healing. So you want to be able to sleep, you want to rest, you want to eat properly, exercise, join the gym. You can't join the gym, take a walk, right? Take a walk every day. You want to do deep breathing, calm your stress down, stretches. All those things are ways to care for your body. You want to empower your mind with new narratives. So a lot of times when we go through abuse, you have come to believe certain narratives about yourself. So the abuser may have said, you are good for nothing. You will never amount to anything. You will never succeed without me. Nobody would want to marry you. Nobody would want you as the only person would love you. And these things become soundtracks in our mind. Back in the day, or if you go to a party, sometimes the DJ would kind of pause the record and it would keep playing over and over if the record is stuck. Back in the day when we had those record players where they put records on, if it became stuck, that line where it's stuck would play over and over and over. It was a soundtrack. And likewise, we have soundtracks that play in our mind, and they play over and over and over. And usually it's negative narratives that we hear over and over. Sometimes it's not only from the relationship we are coming out of, it may be from childhood, where you continue to hear these voices saying you're not good enough, you can't amount, you can't succeed. You want to work on that, you want to break those narratives. And how you do that? When you hear those things, you remind yourself that those things are lies. You remind yourself your affirmations that we spoke about. When you hear that, you say the opposite. Affirm yourself. Say, I will succeed. I am a success. I am loved. I am a daughter of God. So you want to change the narrative and you want to put in new narratives. You want to break those things, right? So you feed yourself new narratives. It's a way of reclaiming your freedom and your power. You want to be able to engage in different things that are going to help you fix those narratives. So for instance, I spoke about listening to things that are going to build you up, videos, teachings about self-esteem, about overcoming domestic violence, about how you recover from abuse, how you change bad perspectives. You want to build yourself up, and those things going to help you to change your narratives, right? So in essence, you want to fill yourself with everything that can rewrite the inner scripts, the negative inner scripts that were put into you during those times of abuse. It's important for your healing. Talking to yourself is very important, right? I learned from therapists that the first voice that your body obeys is actually your voice. So you want to start being able to talk to yourself and change the negative soundtracks in your mind. Another important part of your healing is forgiveness. Forgiveness is vital. If we do not forgive, again, just like boundaries, forgiveness is for you. It is not for the other person. It is not about whether he or she deserves your forgiveness. I don't think they deserve my forgiveness. You are not doing them anything. You are harming yourself. Because when you don't forgive, when you carry unforgiveness, it's like you are packing boulders on your back and you are walking around with heavy boulders on you. So while that person who you refuse to forgive is living their life, they probably have moved on into another relationship. They are living their life. They are partying. They are doing whatever. If they are persons who went to church, because abusers go to church as well, right? Don't think that you find them everywhere. They may be going to church. They may be partying. They may be enjoying their life. They're remarried. They're in another relationship. Whatever it is, they are living their life. While you are carrying around the burden of unforgiveness, and it affects you from moving forward with your life, because all those things you carry, the resentment, sometimes we carry the memory, we don't want to let it go because it's something that we hold on to, and it feeds the unforgiveness. Like, he or she don't deserve this, I will never forgive them, I'll always remember what they did. What is happening is that you are putting boulders on your back. And I want you to think about it. Close your eyes and think about, if I were to strap on 10 boulders on your back and tell you, run forward, you would not be able to. You're going to start to move very slowly, and you're going to move slower and slower till eventually you're going to be too tired to move with those boulders. And that is what unforgiveness is. You cannot move forward. So forgiveness is for you, it is not for the other person. It sets you free. It helps you to reclaim your power, and it breaks the cycle of pain. So when you choose to forgive, it's an act of power and it's not weakness. Don't think because I forgive him or her, I am a weak person. No, it's actually an act of power. It means that your abuser no longer has control over your emotions, your thoughts, or your future. The more that you hold that abuser in your mind, the more power you give them, because they occupy space in your mind and in your thoughts. And remember, we talk about being intentional about our healing. So we want to fill our minds, we want to fill our emotional bank with positive things, not the things that happened in the past. And the more you hold on to that and don't forgive the abuser, the more they're going to have power over you, because those are the things that are going to occupy your thoughts and your mind. So you want to be able to release it, that they no longer have power over you. It is going, the more you release those things, you're going to find you have space for healing, for peace, for joy. You're going to have space. Think of all those things as new gifts. You're giving up the boulders for the new gifts. So carrying around emotional pain takes up space in your heart. And forgiveness clears out the space so you can experience new things. And I just want to stick one point in here before I move forward. If you hold on to unforgiveness, it causes you to start to build up rage and distrust. And you're going to start developing unhealthy habits. So if you are to move on in a new marriage or in a new relationship, you may be very distrusting because of what happened in the past. I know people have moved on and they are unable to trust their partners, the new person in their life, although that person has given them no reason to distrust them, because they are still carrying the past. And that is what unforgiveness does. You cannot move on. Another big one when we're dealing with domestic violence is being able to overcome the need for approval. So a lot of times, that abuser would have conditioned you psychologically. And so it's kind of like the song tracks, right? You start believing that when you have to make decisions, you need their approval. And you keep hearing their voice playing over and over and over in your head, right? I want you to start realizing it's a pattern. Every time you have to make decisions, it's a pattern that's happening. Don't judge yourself, but we want to be able to overcome that pattern. We want to break it, right? So one of the ways we want to break that is to acknowledge that, hey, this voice that I'm hearing in my head, this need that I think I need his or her approval, it is a trauma conditioning. It is not my mind. It is trauma conditioning. You want to talk to yourself and let yourself know that it is not your voice. It is just the trauma that's talking. Another way, you want to notice the pattern, as I said before, and you don't judge yourself. So each time that you hear that playing in your mind, you want to make a decision, you might ask yourself, I wonder if he would have approved. I wonder if she would approve. Ask yourself, is this my voice? And when you realize it is not your voice, ask yourself, what is the emotion that is coming out of it? Is it fear? Is it guilt? Is it a habit? And when you find that and you identify the source, it begins to weaken the control, because you're able to say, okay, this is coming from a place of fear. This is coming from a place of guilt. You're able to weaken it because you're able to name it. And lastly, you want to rebuild an internal safety through small autonomy wins. So you start making small decisions, and in that way, as you make your small decisions without needing any approval, you start reaffirming your independence. So some small things you do. Choose your hairstyle. If you were in a relationship where the person told you how to wear your hair, how to wear your makeup, what clothes to wear, you want to start choosing for yourself, your own hairstyle, your own clothing. Those are small wins. Don't second guess yourself. You want to, if it is that you have a child, if you have a child and you want to make a decision, maybe to have your mom watch your child for some reason, something important that you need to do. You don't start thinking like, maybe you heard the abuser say, you don't want to see about your child. You like to lie. You never want to see about your child. You don't like responsibility. You want to start changing that narrative. And don't be guilty. Remind yourself that, hey, I am making a wise decision. This way I'm leaving my child by my mother. It's a safe space. And I need to leave him or her there because I need to go to work. Or I need to do X. Or I need to do Y. These are small wins. Each small win, every time you celebrate the small win and you remind yourself that I made this decision, nothing bad came out of it, you're going to calm your nervous system down and remind yourself that you are safe and you are capable of making good and healthy decisions. You don't need that person anymore to make decisions for you. It reminds you that you are safe, you are capable, and you are in control. And lastly, we want to stay single while we are healing. So sometimes, because of the past trauma that persons have been through, they think that they need to be in a relationship and they rush into relationships without healing. It's important to stay single while you are healing. When you have been in an abusive relationship, you have been conditioned. You want to recondition your mind. Because if you don't, it's very likely that the next person you choose to be in a relationship with is going to be abusive as well, because your brain is conditioned to the abuse. So if you when you look at psychology, theorists said that if you take somebody who went through a violent relationship like myself, and you put them in a room and you put them in a room with 10 strangers, and you ask one person in that room is an abuser, the other 9 are not abusers. And you ask that victim to choose a person to be in a relationship with. Let them walk around the room, talk to the persons, and you ask them to make a choice. Very likely they're going to choose the abusive person without knowing it. And that's because of the conditioning that took place over time, because of how the trauma affected you. You unconsciously know the cues of an abuser, you know the traits, and you're going to choose that person. So it's important to stay single until you are healed and your mind has been reconditioned that you can make a healthy and a wise decision. And even when you have healed, if you choose someone, you are going to be able to spot the red flags really early so you don't get yourself back into anything like that. That's why it's important to stay single while you are healing. It helps to stabilize your emotions in a safe and controlled environment. If you get into a relationship too early, you can, as we said before, that person can be affected by all your triggers when they are not to blame, right? And what can happen is that you are not able to deal with the emotions you are experiencing because now you have someone else around. You want to be able to be in a controlled environment with yourself that you can work on that healing. So, time alone helps you to recognize red flags. It helps you to understand your triggers, and it helps you to stop trauma bonding before it begins again. Rebuilding your self identity is important when you are single because abuse often strips away your self identity. Singleness gives you space to rediscover who you are, to know what you love, what you don't love, to know what you value and what you don't value, without someone else being there to influence those choices. So, those are the points to overcoming abuse and domestic violence. They will help you in your journey. I hope they have been helpful. And as we close this session, I just want to remind you that if you are here, you are a survivor, you are still a victim. I want to remind you that you have survived up to today, every single day, up to this very moment that you have lived is you have survived. That is strength. Remind yourself that I am here. I have made it up to this moment. You have survived. Leaving, if you have left already, it is something that you did. It was a very brave move, right? And if you have not left us yet, I want to remind you not to be afraid to leave, but be more afraid to stay. I also want to say that if you are here and you're a victim, you're not alone. There is a whole community of survivors that want to help you, right? There's myself, and I know many other survivors that would want to help you get back to your freedom and your liberty and your healing. You are worthy of peace, respect, and love. And you don't have to choose the abuse anymore. You can choose healing. You are not weak because you went through that. You are powerful, more powerful than you know. And again, as I close, I want to say that your past does not define you. You have the right to a future filled with hope, and you have the right to leave that and to choose you and to choose you and your children. So I hand it back over to you, Reverend Yates.
Camika, thank you so much. Before you leave, we have a question.
Sure.
Sometimes women stay in abusive relationships so long that they get used to it. It become a lifestyle. It become a part of
Yes.
them. And in some instances, they feel comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And we have sometimes it could go both ways with male, female abusers, keep threatening, I will kill you, I will kill you. And they hear it so often that they just brush it aside because he accustomed say that, she accustomed saying that, they vex. How serious should this threat be taken?
Oh, if someone is threatening to take your life, I want you to take it as serious as a heart attack. It's very serious. A lot of times, victims tell themselves, well, he's only capable of X and Y. He will not do Z. He's not capable of Z. I want to tell you, somebody makes a threat, they are capable. They are very likely to execute the threat. It doesn't matter if they made it 10 times and they didn't execute on it. The 11th time could be the time that they do it. So take it very seriously. Domestic violence is one that escalates very quickly. And sometimes, even an abuser, remember, people who have become abusers, they also would have gone through trauma in their past, in their childhood. So sometimes they may physically abuse, they may be choking you, or they may have slapped you up, but they didn't intend to kill you. But it escalates so quickly and they lose control so quickly that it can lead to murder and death. And that is why some abusers will then take their lives, because now they don't want to live with the consequence. So they rather take their own lives. So then it's a murder suicide. Or they just don't want you to be with anybody else. They must have the full control and autonomy over you. So anybody making a threat like that, I would say take it very seriously and get out. Do not think that he just joking, he just saying that because he vexed. No, no, no. Take it very seriously.
Very good. And what about men? We have men who are being abused, men who are
Yes.
also in domestic, you know, violence situation. They are in it because they don't want to leave because of the children. They don't want to leave their
Mm,
children behind. Another reason, they are ashamed of speaking out. They are afraid of speaking out because they are being laughed at. They are being
yes.
looked down upon. What can these men do? What is
So the
the
thing is
a way
that
of escape for them?
I want to say that the same way, the same strategies we use for females is the same strategies we need to use for males.
Okay.
But I don't want to call on males if males are listening. Just, females, we are able to rally and to make little groups and support each other. And,
Yes.
Reverend Dates could call me and I will pray with her and that kind of thing, right? I
Yes.
want to call on the men who are listening to start being accountable and start being your brethren, your partner, best friend. It's not a
That's
laughing
right.
matter
That's right.
because men are like that and they don't want to really deal with emotional stuff. They laugh things off, right? But your partner may really need you. So men, just how we ladies know to rally around each other, men need to start to rally around each other. And if your partner, your brethren, discloses to you that, hey, I'm going through that, it's not a laughing matter. You need to rally around him, give him that support, and let him know I'm here for you, just like we do with our ladies, right? And seek some. I mean, I know I've heard a lot of talk where men go to stations to make a report
Yes.
and they are laughed at.
Yes.
But I will say today, because of my work with the TTPS, I want to say that if you're afraid to go to a station, you can go to the Sinclair police station. That's where the head of the gender-based unit is.
Right.
And
Yes.
as a man, you can go there and ask to speak to an officer who works with the gender-based unit, And I can guarantee you, none of those
Very good.
officers in that gender based unit are going to laugh at you, right? I can't guarantee for other stations across the country, but I can guarantee that if you get there to at least the head of the gender based unit and you ask specifically for an officer from that unit, they're going to take your report as serious as if you were a female, right? And, again, there are certain NGOs, certain people that help men. There is the Single Fathers Association. It's not
Yes.
just for single fathers, but they really work with
Fathers.
helping build men and so on. And there are a few others. I think there is a therapist by the name of Shakir London. He also has a group that helps men as well. So it's
Yes.
important that we start making safe spaces for men.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Um, this is so important. Folks, you are with us
Yes.
today. We say thank you for being with us because this is a very important issue, domestic violence. And you know what I noticed, Camika, is something may happen and then you find it takes a trend where okay, about four people do the same thing.
Yes.
You know, you may have with a murder with domestic violence, then bram bram bram. You know, and sometimes I wonder what is the cause of this. It comes like a
I
trend,
would.
and then you know,
Yes. Yes, like a trend. I wonder that as
yes,
well. And I think, it may be a trend again, as we said, take these threats seriously because
that's right.
one person may have carried out on the threat. And because social media has so much influence now,
Yes,
that second person who has been making threats over time, that might just be the day
trend.
that they see that happening and they say, okay, well, he do it, I go and do it. Or she do it,
Yes,
I go and do it too. And then you find you have 3 4 of the same incidents
that's
occurring,
right.
as well as we have to understand that there is a spiritual element,
That's right.
um so these things are really broken with prayer as well. S- so we don't want
Correct.
to underestimate the spiritual aspect as well.
So, folks, you have heard it all how to deal with situations with domestic violence. I know people are going to be looking at this program. It may not be today, and they would be in that same situation. I want you to be encouraged. There is hope. Don't give up on yourself. Don't say you can't be helped. You listen to the program properly and realize, okay, I can be helped. I can get out of this. You know, this is not a life I want for myself. And I want to encourage somebody, just walk. Get out of any life with domestic violence, any situation, relationship that is threatening your life, you know, that is dangerous for you and your children. Don't take it lightly. Don't think, well, he says that because he's drunk. He's saying that because he's vexed. You know, these things are serious situation. And you see our program today, dealing with domestic violence. Domestic violence, please, we ask of you, do not stay in domestic violence situation and think it's a norm. It's not a norm. It's dangerous. What are your parting words, Camika? What parting words you wanted to leave with them?
Well, I gave my parting words just now, but I
Right.
will say it again that you don't have to choose abuse,
That's
right?
right.
You should choose your healing. You are worthy of peace, respect, and love. And it's important, it's not wrong to prioritize yourself and your children, right? You are not being selfish. It's important that you prioritize that
Yes,
because it is a part of your journey, right? And reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness. It's
that's right.
actually a sign of strength to be able to say that, hey, I need help. You're not alone. There are many survivors like myself who will walk this journey with you. And remember that your past does not define you.
Thank you so much. What an excellent program. And this is the second time on Youth With a Difference, and we really appreciate you being here. And as much information that you get and you would like to be on the program, feel free. Feel free
Thank you
to
so much.
just shout me out, because these things need to be said. People need to be helped. People need to know that there is hope. There's others who've been through it, and they're not talking because it's from a book, but from experience, And Camika is speaking from experience. It's not. She didn't go to school and study this and just this, and she come from a point of what she learned, what she studies, but it's from a point of experience. So there is so much food in this program this evening. So as you listen, be blessed and listen to me. Share this with others. You don't know whose hand it's going to fall into and needs to see this program, needs to hear what was said. So please, I ask of you, share this program far and wide. Facebook is a bit funny these days. You can share your program recently as you would like to, and I don't know what is going on, but as much as you can share it, please share it. And I hope that whatever is going on, it's going to be fixed on the side of Facebook where we can share as much as we want, as long as we want. So Camika, I want to thank you so much for your giftedness.
Most welcome.
Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to your husband for the background help. I want to say I appreciate you all so much. God bless you richly. And I love our guests to come on and send you away without praying for you. So Heavenly Father, we lift up, oh God, your servant Camika before you and her husband. Oh God, we thank you for them. We thank you, God, for the richness, oh God, of their lives that they are sharing with others. We thank you, God, because you have been good to them. We say thanks for your greatness towards them. As they go forth in ministry, oh God, let your anointing fall fresh upon them in the name of Jesus. And I declare, no weapon that is formed, oh God, against them shall prosper. Every tongue rise up against them in judgment, oh God, is already condemned. Father, they go forth from a standpoint of victory. Father, oh God, let, oh God, your angels continue to encamp around them, oh God. Continue to keep them, oh God, safe, oh God, in your presence, oh God, in your arms, oh God. Keep them home, oh God. Remember them in every aspect of their life, whatever they do, whatever they venture into, oh God. Be a fence around them every day, oh God. Protect them as they travel along life's way. In the wonderful name of Jesus, we declare victory. Oh God, take care of their going out and their coming in. Oh God, surround them with their presence. Supply every need. In the name of Jesus, thank you so much. Those of you online, we want to say thank you for spending this great time with us today. Thank you so much. Those of you on Facebook, those of you on YouTube, meet us back right here again next week, Saturday, God's willing, 6 p.m. So, love you all. Blessing, blessing, blessing. Camika.
Bye, everyone.
God bless. God bless. God bless. God bless. God bless. And we leave you with this song. From Arlene Mohammed, and she's singing, I am under the rock. Stay under the rock, child of God.
I am under, yes, I am under the rock, 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 rock. I am under, yes, I am under the rock, 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 rock. I am under the rock. Hey, the rock is higher than I. Hey, Jehovah hide me. I'm under the rock. Go tell my enemies I am under the rock. Jehovah hide me. I am under the rock. I am under, yes, I am under the rock, 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 rock. I am under, yes, I am under the rock, rock. I am under the rock. Hey, the rock is higher than my head. Jehovah, Jehovah, hide me. I'm under the rock. Go tell my enemies under the rock. Dancing in His glory, we feel so alive. With every beat we dance to, we show Christian pride. On the shores of Trinidad, His love will never die. Spreading hope and joy, Jesus' love will multiply. If your hands up, let your voices rise, feel the joy. Let it reach the sky in your grace. We are unified in His name. We are sanctified. Humble love, humble love, humble love, humble love, Jesus, oh. Humble love, humble love, humble love, humble love, Jesus, oh. Humble love, humble love, humble love, humble love, Jesus, oh. Humble love, humble love, humble love, humble love, Jesus, oh. From Trinidad to the Caribbean, from the Caribbean to the world. From Trinidad to the Caribbean, from the Caribbean to the world.